because I thought there have been times when I've said I hear something, someone says they can't hear it, and I said, well, maybe it's your hearing. Oh, what the hell did he say? What? You? That's a personal attack. And I thought, what? This is about audio, man. We're in the audio hobby, and we're talking about audio gear, and you can't handle the truth because you're getting older, and you can't handle that. Tyler, he did a great favor for us, and I'm out of here. This is a classic. It's the monster version. Never selling it. Collector's item. This is a video, not about beats. This is actually a classic that I have right here, and I won't let it go because this is a Beats by Dre Monster. This is the set that changed the headphone world. And a lot of the people that are in the hobby and a lot of the gear that is in the hobby was, at no time in history was there a greater bump in usage and in sales than when this hit the market. But I'm just going to leave this here as a visual because I'm going to talk real quick. This won't be long. As the title that I think I'm going to put in this indicates, this is regarding Tyler Hurstens. I don't know if that's his... I don't know his name. He's a reviewer, audiophile, audio enthusiast for a site called InnerFIdelity, which he created, founded by himself or with others. I'm not aware of his history so much. When I first came into the hobby, some of the first links on the first page would be his site for various gear. And I watched maybe 5 videos in total since I've ever been in the hobby. I've used his graphs before because he's done graphs on gear that I was interested in. So my awareness of him at the time of his being in the hobby actively was very limited. Before he retired from being in the hobby, the last thing that I noticed of him was him doing a surprise kind of in-your-face video with somebody who's very big at the top of this hobby. And the person he was doing the video of looked very uncomfortable to be on video and didn't want to be on it, obviously. But the person taking the video, Tyler, didn't seem to give a shit. Now, looking at that video now, knowing that he was probably leaving, I'm sure he actually didn't give a shit what the person he was taking a video of thought. Anyway, which I thought is brilliant, because it's kind of a troll. And he also did another thing, which was not a troll, but was a InnerFIdelity. Inner, inside, and then fidelity, if you know what that means, fidelity. And then his symbol, which is yin and yang, which is the Chinese symbol. They're opposing things, representing good and bad, or whatever you want, but they're opposites, pretty much, is what that symbol is often used for. So you got InnerFIdelity, you've got his symbol that he uses. He always used aloha shirts, and I'm from Hawaii, so that was always a nice visual to me when I did watch his videos. I watched his going away video, just I don't know, to see what a person that was on their way out was going to say, and he said something that was huge. And of course, in the comment section, which I did check, I noted a couple things. One was a person who's got ADHD like myself, because I've seen his videos, and he said, you should get a surround sound system for your little, I can't remember what he called it, pup or something like that, his portable retirement wagon where he's going to travel around the country and retire, which sounds absolutely cool. If he ever sees this video, nothing but respect, and I'll explain why. Of course, he can't have that surround system because he said he's not going to have a power source beyond pretty much solar, so he's going to be limited. And one of the things he's going to have is a set of Beats. Not this set, of course. I think it's the Beat Solo 2, because the Bluetooth is exceptional and it fits his lifestyle, which is kind of a sideways nod to the people out there that are using it. It's got a practical benefit, and it's popular for a reason. And it does not sound that bad. It sounds good, in fact. So he's going to have Beats, and also he's going to have Quiet Comfort. I can't remember the series number. That and then his, I guess, his Mr. Speakers or Mr. Ears, Mr. Speakers, I think they are, open and close back for his upper audio listening. The thing that he said that caught my ears right away. We're 4 minutes in, so don't worry about it. This isn't a rip video, so if you think I'm going to rip into people, well, I guess it depends on how old you are, whether you think this is a rip video. This is my opinion. This is my channel. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Please don't post videos with foul language on forums. I'm putting this in the video because I'm telling you, it's not safe for work, and I'll put that in the title. So if you're doing that, you're kind of trolling the website because people got kids and they don't want to hear foul language. This video contains foul language, so be advised. One of the reasons that Tyler cited for his exit from the hobby, I'm sure he wants to retire and get into his really cool-looking vehicle and travel the country and live life free. I'll tell you something about myself very, very quickly. The happiest time in my life was probably when I was about 15 or 16 and I was sleeping on the beach in Hawaii, in Waikiki, and I didn't have a job and I didn't have money, and I was making it was the beginning of whether I was going to go one way or the other in my life. And looking back at that time, it was probably the happiest time of my life because I didn't have responsibilities, I didn't have appointments, I didn't have schedules, I didn't have people expecting anything from me. And then the grind and the fight to make big money activated me, and I went about my way of beating everybody that was in my high school and getting to the car and the house and with no mortgage before everybody else. I thought that was how people were ranking each other, so I decided to play that game. And it was fun until I got there, and then it didn't seem to be really anybody cared. When you contacted people and say, I got the house, I got no mortgage, I'm in Hawaii, jealousy or lack of caring, or I misunderstood what the point of the game was. I just got no reaction. I was trying to say, I'm at the top of the hill and I'm peeing down and you guys got your mouth open at the bottom. Nobody wants to hear that. Because they're jealous or they just don't give a shit. So I misread that, or people don't want to have stuff thrown in their faces. So once I got through the grind, that was it, you know. There wasn't really anything else. So when I look back at the time when I was sleeping on the beach and going to the Tahitian Lanai, which is near the Rainbow Lagoon, behind the hotel that is in the Hawaii 5-0, the old one. I don't know if it's in the new one, the Ilakai Hotel. That was the purest, happiest time in my life. So Tyler's about to go do that at his retirement stage, which is, you know, do what he wants, when he wants, where he wants. Freedom. There is no substitute for freedom. It is the most awesome thing. I'm tied down in so many ways right now. I'd like to do what he's about to do. So this is not a rip on Tile at all. So if you're a fan of his and you're watching and you're 7 minutes in, I in no manner am disrespecting the guy. So if you were thinking that, I'm sorry to disappoint you, or I'm glad to make you feel relaxed, because that's not going to happen. Main part of this video, 7 minutes in, that I want to address is something that he said was why he was getting out of the hobby. And that was because one of the reasons, his hearing just isn't what it used to be. That's a very huge statement for a man that big in the hobby to say openly, and as one of the reasons. I'm sure if his hearing was fine, he's going to retire anyway. But that was a great thing for the hobby as a parting gift to the people out there that understand age-related hearing loss and how it affects people's ability to perceive audio. This is a huge thing that Tyler did, because I can jump on his back and use it for what I want to use it for, which I'm sure he never imagined or intended, and maybe apologize to people in the future. Or will he? I think he wouldn't. It's true. Let me give you a little visual. I just downloaded this. It's pretty general, and it's pretty accurate. This is 20 years old, and this is measured hearing, and it's fine. And then, as you see, 30 years old, from around 2,000 hertz, you start to suffer a loss of about 5 dB, let's say roughly. And then as you see, it starts to increase year by year. You got 40, and then you got 50. This is the range where a lot of reviewers are right now. There's a great number of reviewers that are in this area. And they're here because they're old enough to buy the expensive gear. They've been in the hobby long enough to make connections. Multiple reasons. You know, there's young people in the hobby, and they're immature, and it shows. And I guess they got the ears to hear it, but they don't have the connections. Or that's another video. I brought this up once on a forum and was absolutely flamed, and it was people who were I was talking to because they fit in this age range, and their psychophants were absolutely up in arms that I would bring up the fact that I think my hearing is probably better than somebody else that's like, let's say, 55 years old. There are people that mention in their reviews that they're getting older and that their hearing isn't what it used to be, and then they proceed to do a review and recommend something to people, and it's a varying value and expensive sometimes, and it absolutely blows my mind because now I'm going to remind you now, Tyler Herstens, or I guess that's his name, cited one of the reasons. I think he said he's around 60 years old, which would be here. He's got exceptional hearing. He was in sonar. He was especially picked by people in the military. I think fidelity is maybe a word he got in the military, as they use it a lot. Fidelity. He's in this area, and his hearing from, let's say, 500 hertz to really the end of the realistic audible range, around 8,000. I can hear beyond that. I know, but let's say 8 for most people, is greatly reduced. And Tyler is maybe exceptional, and probably is based on the history that he has in the military. So his is not quite as pronounced as what would be graphed out. But if you're looking at this graph, you're seeing that the base region generally not that much affected. Not really until the later stages when you're really up there. Now, really up there, that's 60 years old. But everything from the early mids, and especially around 4K, which is where a lot of the vocal harmonics reside, is handicapped, and it's not a personal thing. It's a human thing. You're not going to fight it, and you're not going to fix it. It's the human condition. Now, let me give you a couple examples just so that you can put this into perspective. Let's say you watch a video, and the guy starts the video and he says, I'm 55 years old and my eyesight is not quite as good as it used to be, but I'm going to go ahead and do a review of these two 4K televisions and go ahead and give you my opinion. And you might, if you were like me, stop yourself for a second and say, okay, I don't know if I want to keep going, because the main part of the television is the screen. I mean, what the hell's the point in 4K? And of course, there's other parts of a television and other things that it can do, but its main appeal is the screen. That's why when you walk into shops and you see, 50 TVs, they got all the screens on, and you can, the density, saturation, something appeals to you. I like Sony Bravias. It jumped out to me. I think I saw another one last time I went. That grabs you, and then you take a look at the other stuff. So if somebody said, my eyesight's not that great, I'm going to go ahead and review these two TVs, and then one of the bigger points of the review is going to be the screen quality by a person that admittedly, and of course, doesn't have the eyesight of the average person. I don't think that would work. That's my opinion. You got a guy that's, let's say, again, 55 years old, former race car driver, says, my reaction time is not quite what it used to be, but I'm going to go ahead and test drive these two performance cars and give you my, impressions on which one you ought to buy based on, how it handles. Well, if your reaction time isn't what it used to be, how the car handles isn't going to be optimized, because it's going to be limited by you, the driver. So that wouldn't apply with a car, and nobody, I don't think, would attempt it. I don't think anybody that was reviewing visual things like televisions would admit to anything wrong with their eyes, because then their main interface with the reviewed item is admittedly not as good as perhaps the viewer of the review. So to extrapolate that to the audio world, you've got people not reviewing this, but people reviewing very, very expensive gear, and sometimes not, and they're 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 years old, and they don't really care they mention it and then they move on, and then they stick to their opinions, and they will push back in people that disagree with them, and the fact that their hearing compared to the person they're arguing with is greatly affected by their age. It doesn't come in, and if it does, it's something that is shut down very quickly because it's like a taboo thing in this hobby. Tyler just walked away from a gravy train of sorts because he's doing it on his terms and his way, and I respect that, so I'm doing this video. He's doing something for himself, but as a favor to the community without knowing it and without anybody addressing it in his comment sections because it doesn't really benefit them. He's acknowledging something. This is all about audio. This is all about music. This is about the gear and listening to music with the gear. And if your ability, because of your age, has diminished, then your ability to give an accurate opinion of the performance of an item has been compromised. Not because you're not honest, not because you're a bad person, not because you like gravy and you want the gravy train to continue. That could be true, but that's not the point. You're older. Your hearing is not what it used to be. Recommending audio gear to other people, knowing that, is a selfish event. This is money. It involves quite a lot of money. I'm not bringing this up out of the wild. Tyler brought this up as one of the reasons. Certainly not the first. The guy's going to retire. He's going to take his car. His truck. He's going to drive around the country and enjoy life. That's the reason he's doing what he's doing. But he did note, and it's no small thing, that his hearing is not what it used to be, and he's a person that has exceptional hearing, according to himself. And I got no reason to doubt a guy that's got fidelity in the title of his site and always has, and it's got the symbol for yin and yang. He seems to be a very decent person, and he wants a nice, simple, peaceful life, and I wish that on him. I hope that he gets all of the things that he wants from here on out, and he's had all the things that he wants from when he wanted it until now when he decides to walk away. So nothing but respect to that guy. The comment about the hearing loss, age-related hearing loss. Now remember, when you get a hearing test, it's not the same as an eyesight test. You take an eyesight test and you've got a tangible object with things on it, and you are at a certain distance, and you can see it or you can't. And they've got other ways to do it, but that's really a hearing test. Quite often is the reaction of the subject to stimuli in the form of audio, and then they indicate reception of that stimuli via a keyboard press, a mouse click, a hand gesture. It's not quite what an eye test is, and even those are. We're talking about the human brain and the ego and stuff that comes in it. You can game hearing examination. So people that say, I had my hearing tested every year and it's fine. What does fine mean? And what does that look like on a print? Because this is actually a print, and you can pick your own because they all look roughly the same. They all look about like this, and they all degrade at the same rate, and they all degrade in the same area of the audio spectrum. So this is the audio spectrum. The test reaction that you would have printed out by a person that does audio tests wouldn't look anything like this, because they can't measure you on a graph like this unless it's against your peers. And you would be an anomaly not to fit into this graph. I'm not an anomaly. I think I have exceptional hearing because I hear things that people say they can't hear. But I have OCD, so I'm listening for it. It's part of the way my brain is wired. And I think I have good hearing. But I'm going to be subject to this as well. I'll be gone by my own will long before that. But this is going to come and get me. It's got other people right now that are in this hobby, and they will never walk away like Tyler did, because they don't have what Tyler has. And that is bigger dreams than getting a package from somebody and having so many packages coming you can't remember which package this is. That's where they are. Or getting a front page review because that's what's important to them instead of being a good reviewer or doing their best or saying, you know what, I would be best off doing something, not using my ears as the main point. And since this is audio gear, and since your main tool is your ears, and they are, because of the human condition, going to degrade and become at a level where you're not really going to be the best person to be giving opinions about the treble quality of a set of IMs or over ears or the resolution of a particular source. And that's the cold hard truth. You're not going to walk away like Tyler just did, because you're not like Tyler. And this is really kind of aimed at about 14 people that I counted before I decided to do this video, because I figured if someone figures it's them, someone will figure it's a personal attack. Now, I counted 14 people that I can estimate their ages about here, which would be, you know, halfway through the... This is extreme hearing loss at the age of 60 compared to the age of 20. And if you're giving recommendations to people that are in this range, and you're down here in this range, there's a problem with that. And my analogy about somebody talking about the quality of a 4K TV or the difference between a 4K TV and a 1080p, and is it really that big a deal? If somebody had you know, less than 20/20 vision, they really wouldn't be the best person to give you that opinion. Am I lying? Because if I am, I'm dying. And I'm still here. I've been on this for a couple of years because I thought there have been times when I've said I hear something, someone says they can't hear it, and I said, well, maybe it's your hearing. Oh, what the hell did he say? What? That's a personal attack. And I thought, what? This is about audio, man. We're in the audio hobby, and we're talking about audio gear, and you can't handle the truth because you're getting older, and you can't handle that. Tyler, he did a great favor for us, and I'm out of here. This is a classic. It's the monster version. Never selling it. Collector's item.